What's up, guys? All right, we are going to do a video about things that kept me gaining the weight back over the years. And this is just personal experience. It's not to say that it will happen to you, not to say that it will be your experience, but these are just like, I have like 8 things that um, throughout this journey have like kept the weight coming back. And I thought I'd share because there's some things that the GLP-1 has just like kind of helped with, and there's other things that I still have to work on. I'm making an electrolyte right now, so I use Ultima. I love this one. It's like the Moctini pack, and then I pour this into it. It's a 0 sugar Sprite, a cherry lime, because I like some bubbles. But figured I would just utilize my time and share some of the things that I feel like were contributing factors to why the weight came back that the GLP-1 has pretty much like helped me eliminate. Some of them with ease, and some of them, like I said, I'm still like I have to be intentional and I have to focus and give it a little bit more energy. So let me see if I can shake this up and do it without wearing it. I really don't want that for myself. The first one, which I know that a lot of people in our community and just in general, it's not clothes and I really don't want to wear it, can relate to emotional eating. Emotional eating has always been something that I have battled with, even probably since I was little. I think the last time I was like thin or not overweight was probably when I was like 6 years old. Like it was a long time ago. As an adult, I can't remember. Besides, like obviously, like after bariatric surgery, but emotional eating, and I feel like now because of like how I won't say motivated because I'm not always motivated, how much better I feel. It ties into my life to where I don't battle with that one as much anymore. But the GLP-1, it takes away some of that for me. And I don't know if that's just me personally, but like when I'm upset or when I'm sad or when I'm angry, like all the times where I probably would have like ran to food before, I don't do that anymore. And it's not because I'm like, oh no, don't do that. Like I don't have to tell myself not to do it. I just don't. And so I definitely feel like the medication helps with that. It just kind of like took it away. I'm like, all right. Because of course I've still had days where like I'm upset or I'm sad or, life happens. We're going to pour the extra in here. We're doing great at not like spilling. Um, Life's still lifing despite being on a GLP-1. Oh, did I lose the cap? So that part hasn't changed. Life is still emotional. Things still come up, but I don't run to food anymore. So I love that. It's definitely a positive side effect. And like I said, I don't know if this is the same for everybody or if it's just me. And I know I've heard people say in their videos and stuff like, oh, I would have done this before and I don't anymore. So I know it ain't just me. So I'm glad to not have that be like such a huge thing anymore. Or, because it was bad. That. And then another thing is like the late night snacking. I thought I had this under control after I had had my gastric sleeve surgery. But then I had a child and I breastfed him. And I feel like after I had my son, I never got full control over my snacking, because when you're breastfeeding, it makes you a little bit more hungry because you're exerting more energy and all the things, right? But I feel like after I had him, the cravings that I got when I was breastfeeding, they never fully went away. And that's where a lot of my weight gain happened, to be honest. And it was just like such a bummer because I felt so out of control. But the late night snacking has pretty much stopped. The only time I eat at night now is sometimes on dose day. If I feel like I haven't eaten enough throughout the day, I'll add like a nice little snack, like a string cheese and some crackers and a couple pieces of salami. or, something that has a little bit of like substance to it, I guess. So I'm not just like having an empty stomach, because sometimes I feel like that can affect like how the medication is like absorbed. But I don't know. That's just like my mental. But sometimes I'll have like a snack, but it's not like a sweet sugary snack. It's not ice cream or whatever. I try to make it like a snack worthwhile. Um, the third one is food at work. Food at work, and anybody who works in an office space knows exactly what I'm talking about. Whether it be cookies, lunches. I work in a construction office, and so I order lunch when they want lunch, or whatever. But I'm in full control of like the food that's in that building. But even at my old office, there was always snacks. There was always a celebration of some kind, and when there's a celebration, we celebrate it with food. And so food at work was so hard for me. And I also found that like before the GLP-1, instead of just taking like one, like everybody else, I had like a scarcity mindset around food, and I would take like 3 pieces or two. Like if it was pizza, right? I would take way more than what I needed or actually like should have. And people don't want to let me over. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to come on over, but thanks. Anyways, um, pardon me while I navigate California. Like, California drivers are wild, y'all know. But food at work, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, like pizza. Instead of just having like one slice, I would take three, knowing damn well I wasn't gonna eat all 3 pieces. But I would save it for later. Like I had like such a scarcity mindset around food when it came to like work functions, or I remember the first day I went back to work after starting my GLP-1, they had some of those sugar cookies with the thick frosting on them. They're real soft, and they had those at work, and I went to work, and it was the day after I took my first shot, and I looked at them, and I walked away, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's working. That's how I knew the medication worked. That's when I was like, oh, it's true what they say. Like they, meaning all the people who are like, the food noise goes away, it silences. They had those I'm the one who bought the cookies for the team, but we had those, and I didn't even take one. I was like, oh. So that was a huge struggle for me. And this has been something that's like long term. This is not even just within, my GLP-1 usage from the beginning of this year. This goes all the way back to like after I had my son. I remember at my old job, we would always celebrate. We had so many fun activities, but there was always so much food. And I would find myself taking more than what I could even eat. So that doesn't happen anymore. I don't, if I take anything at all, I'll usually just like take one, because that's one, all I can eat, and two, that's all I really want, if anything. Most of the time I can just like walk past it, which is great. And it's another, positive side effect of being on GLP-1. And I'm going to pause the video really quick because I have to get gas, and I will return in just a minute. All right, I'm back. Let's see what we're doing here. Like, what are we doing? There we go. All right. I'm watching and I'm just paying attention. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to get out of this gas station. That's what I do know. All right. So let's see. Where were we? I think I'm on like number 3 or 4. So the next one, we're going to call it number 4, is like post-workout treats. Feeling like I need to reward myself for working out. It was a big problem for me. And sometimes still it like creeps in, but it's like, for example, I would do like a super hard strength workout or a run or something or whatever, or get my 10,000 steps for the day. And I would be like, ooh, I did all this so I can, I can have the extra treat or whatever it is, or, overindulge, so to speak. And I want to be like, oh, well, I can have a burger, but y'all can have a burger whenever y'all want to. I have videos on this channel from an In-N-Out burger drive-thru. Eat the burger. They're not off limits. But I would use a workout as an excuse to eat more, or like eat something I shouldn't, like a cinnamon roll, or like a giant one, Whereas now I can just eat like a piece of it or a half or whatever, and it's fine. But the post workout, like treating it as a reward, was so bad. It was so bad. And sometimes I still have those moments where I'm like, oh, I did this, so now I can get this. Like, you have to like rewire your brain to not have those bad habits anymore. But the GLP-1 again has helped with that, because it's like I don't have like the craving for food. I'll finish doing some exercise, or I'll hit my 10,000 steps for the day, and I don't even think about the food, right? It doesn't even come up in my mind. So it just takes a whole thought away. Number 5 is like all or nothing mentality. Like if I was doing some sort of like diet or exercise and I fell off the wagon, I would be like, oh gosh, and just like totally blow it. Or, have all these, dreams and aspirations of like starting on Monday, and I eat like, excuse me, like crud from, whatever, Monday to Sunday. And then, next week rolls around and that Monday's here, and I'm like, oh, well, I didn't start, but, I had all those final meals leading up to like this new fresh start. So the all or nothing mentality, it it is dangerous, whether it's with food or, some other big goals that you have. So that's still one that I still have to work on, because even though I don't struggle with that with like my diet, I still struggle with it with my exercise, with goals outside of that, like personal goals. Like if I don't, you know, get the things done or get them, done in a certain amount of time, I often still feel like I'm like, oh, well, I just have to, let it go. And it's like, no, you can start over. You can start on a Tuesday. You can start right now. You can start at 12 a.m. on a Wednesday, morning. But you can start over as many times as you need to. We all can, no matter what it is. And you don't have to start on Monday. You don't have to start on the 1st. You don't have to start in January of next year. You can start right now. It does not matter. There is no rule to that. And the world has shaped us into like those New Year's resolutions. Like, you can start whenever you want. And if you fall off the wagon or if you drop the ball, it is completely fine. Pick it back up the next day, pick it back up in a week, pick it back up in 2 weeks, just pick it back up. Just keep trying. So the all or nothing mentality one is one of the ones that I still have to focus on, because it's not just food related, it's habit related. It's, rewiring related. It's very much so still something that I have to put effort into, like, fixing. The next one, I don't know what number I'm on, so we're just going to keep going, is being unrealistic about, like, what you can do, what you should do, what your bandwidth is. Like, being unrealistic about, like, if you can meal prep for 5 days a week, if you're going to eat all those meals, like, that's just an example. You have to like have those conversations with yourself, like, what am I capable of? And that looks different every week for some people. What do I have the bandwidth for? What can I do? Like with my workouts, just as an example, sometimes I don't strength train. Sometimes I only get 1 day a week. Sometimes I get 2. Sometimes I don't do anything all week long. And so that's just an example, but the same can go for your food, because like being on the GLP-1, sometimes it's easier to have stuff prepped. Sometimes people don't like prep food. Sometimes it looks like processed food. If all you can handle that week is processed food, but you're getting your calories and it's not super duper unhealthy, I mean, don't eat Pop-Tarts 5 days a week, right? But like, if you need to have the Pop-Tart, have the Pop-Tart. Like, understand where you are, and be realistic about like what you can do. I've had weeks where I'm like, oh man, I really want to like hone in on my healthy eating, and so that just looked like snack plates for lunch for 5 days a week. I would have like, fruit, a vegetable, a protein, and I try to add more protein, whether it be like tuna, salami, string cheese, like whatever it is. And I would eat snack plates for 5 days a week, because it was just easy to shop for. It was easy to prepare. I didn't have to think about it. I could just grab it and go. But don't sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to make, this grand old meal, and it's not something that's within reach for you. Just because you saw somebody else doing it on their, weekend roundup of whatever they were prepping for, their reset for Sunday. It's easy to get looped in to like somebody else's routine because it looks so glamorous and it looks easy. But something that looks easy to me might be, somebody who doesn't have kids. They don't work full time. They have more freedom. Like it could be a totally different life that they're living, or they have more support, whatever. So it might look easy, but when I try to do it, when I try to implement it, it's not, and it's overwhelming, and it leads me to burnout. That is something that I had to learn, and that is where the comparison is a thief of joy. Like you have to do whatever works for you, but be realistic. Like don't make it so unmanageable that you can't achieve it or you can't stay on track. What else? Now, being consistent. This is like, what do they say? Like, this is like my arch nemesis. Being consistent is really hard for me because I'm a big dreamer, and I love to have these big giant goals and dreams, and it takes consistency to get there. And even with just like journaling, or waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can have some quiet time to myself, whatever. It's not all food and exercise related. There's other things that I struggle with being consistent with, but I'm working on it. But being consistent, the GLP-1 medication has helped me in a sense with that, because now I can be more consistent with my workouts because my body feels better. I can be more consistent with eating healthier because it's a little bit easier. Like all these other little habits have helped me with the bigger ones that I still struggle with in different aspects of my life. So being consistent was something that made the weight come back before, because if you're not consistent in how you eat and how you get your movement or whatever, you're going to keep struggling. And so it's important to all these little habits that we try to implement and that we try to form, to keep doing them. Keep doing them. Don't stop doing it just because it's working, or because, you lost 3 pounds in a week and you feel great. But keep doing the things. Keep making sure you're showing up for yourself. And I have to practice what I preach. But mind you, this list of things are all things that kept the weight coming back before, and things that I feel like the GLP-1 has helped get better at, or not have to battle as much. Consistency is still one of the ones that I battle with, but it's not so much surrounded by food, it's other stuff. But ebbs and flows, people, ebbs and flows. What is another one? Comparing. It kind of ties into what I was talking about seeing someone's video. You just never know the life that somebody lives, so you can't compare your eating habits to theirs. I was watching another YouTuber's video today, and she was talking about how some of the comments hurt her feelings because she had mentioned something about how much food she had eaten or how much protein she had had, and people were just like, oh, I don't know you eat that much. Y'all, be kind and be thoughtful with how you say things. She eats more than I eat, but I would never be like, oh, how do you eat that much? That's her body. Her body needs to eat that much. My body doesn't. I've had gastric sleeve surgery and I'm on a GLP-1. She hasn't. We can't compare. And I use that as a constant example because you never know. You never know. Some people have different, metabolisms. They're different ages. I think your age, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, perimenopause, all those things matter. And we don't know somebody else's life. So we can't be like, oh, well, you eat a lot of food. It doesn't matter. If that is what that person wants to consume, or what they're doing for their body because if they feel like it's what they need, then let them. Let them eat that amount. Let them navigate the journey in the best way that works. Because that's how, at the end of the day, even if it was good, bad, or whatever, that's how you learn what you need and what you don't need. It doesn't, we can't sit here and compare, whether it be good or bad. It will eat you up inside, and it also makes other people feel really gross. So comparison is one of the things that would it would make me gain weight, because I would see somebody's journey and try to do it the way they did it, and it wouldn't work for me, and so I'd fall off the bandwagon. It ties into that realistic, and that kind of those two tie together. Stay in your own lane and figure out what works for you, figure out what works for your body, work with your doctor. I talked about it in my last video. Figure yourself out. There's so many things that change when you start to lose weight that you have to modify, and it changes fast. So one thing or two things or whatever that may have worked in the beginning of this journey, or even 2 months ago, whatever it is, they might not work anymore. And if you're still doing them because they worked in the beginning and they're not working now, you have to keep reassessing. And so that is just like, you have to, look inward to do that. You can't look at somebody else and assess yourself. That makes no sense. So comparison. I definitely, I don't think that the GLP-1 has helped with comparison, but our community, the community that we all preach the same thing about like us being on our own journey and being kind to each other and that kind of thing. So I think that the community has helped with that one, but not the medication itself. Um, but also, like, if you meet goal weight, don't compare your loss to somebody else's loss. Like, you don't know their life, you don't know how they got there, you don't know what they did before, like, or what they're currently doing. So just don't do that. Don't compare. And the last one on my list that I have that kept me gaining weight is like fast food or convenient food. um, this one was really hard. Like, at one point I was vegan or plant-based, and there was no fast food, so that made it easy. But like, fast food is a sure way to gain weight back. It's not healthy. It's not great. There's some healthier options. I was chatting with somebody the other day about, like, there was a period in time in my GLP-1 journey where I ate Chipotle for like 2 weeks straight, y'all, because it was like well balanced. But Chipotle versus Taco Bell, I'm gonna choose Chipotle. Like, if you are gonna eat fast food, try to make a decent decision. Like, Burger King, McDonald's, still eat it, but just be mindful about it. Like, don't eat it 5 days a week. Does my kid eat a Happy Meal? Sure. I don't even order from McDonald's anymore because it looks gross. And that's the GLP-1. That's the medication doing what it does. I cannot, if it was the last thing on earth and I had to eat it, sure. But like, there is no part of me that wants like a McDonald's or a Burger King. And that's just me. I don't have a hankering for it. I don't want nothing to do with it, but that's the medication. That's, if I wasn't on the medication, I would probably still eat it. So those are the kind of things that it's just like, the medication has helped me stop going back in that circle. Because you're going to have weeks, or whatever, or days where you need to eat fast food. You're on the road, you're traveling, whatever. And you have to do what you got to do. But, if it's fried or whatever, like, understand that it's probably not the best choice, but we all do it. There's days where it happens and it's okay. Have grace. If you go out to eat, like, and you're worried about, like, eating or whatever, like, look at the menu before, know what you're going to order. That's a big one that helped me. If I do eat fast food, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll order a kid's meal, because I won't eat the food. Like, I won't eat all of it. If I get like a regular meal, or if I get like something normal, I won't eat it all. And I don't want to waste food, and I don't want to waste my money. So if I'm at fast food and that's my only option, I'll get a kid's meal. If I'm going to a restaurant and I'm worried about like the food or whatever, like, I'll look at the menu ahead of time so that way I can understand what I'm up against. Those are healthy habits though, right? Like, that's not even like, that's just something that is like a tidbit to, like, if you can manage it and do it, do that. What was the other thing? There was one more thing about eating out that I was going to tie into it. What was it? I don't know. I lost it. It's gone. I don't know. But those are all things that, like, I struggled with before, that would like send me in loops and send me in circles and keep the weight coming back, or make it harder to lose, whatever. And the GLP-1, it helps with a lot of that stuff, but it doesn't cure it all. You have to focus on your habits. And it sounds like, a broken record at this point, because we've all like heard it. But I think the more you get into it, the easier it gets, because it just becomes like who you are. You don't really have to think about it anymore. Like, the late night snacking for me, before, I would grab cookies, or I would grab, fruit snacks or whatever. And now it's just like, no, just grab the string cheese and the crackers, or, whatever. You have different go-tos. Your cravings are different, or if you even have them, right? So those are just some of the things I thought that I would mention. I think there was like 8 or 9 things that kept the weight coming on before that I don't really battle with as much anymore or at all. So I'm just so grateful for the GLP-1 medication, and that I'm able to even say that I don't struggle with some of those things anymore, because they've been lifelong struggles. It's not just, a few years. This has been going on for my whole entire life, um, especially the emotional eating. So to not have to battle that anymore, there's so much freedom with that. And I hope that other people get to experience it too. Like if you're on the fence about starting a GLP-1, or you're not sure, the benefits definitely outweigh the risks, in my opinion. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat if I had to make the same choices that I made. So yeah, that's all. That's all I got for now. And I'll try and get this one out as soon as I can. I want to thank everybody who's new here. Sorry if I didn't introduce myself in the beginning. My name's Brittany. I'm 36. I'm on a GLP-1 journey. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I'll chat with you guys soon.